Hi, Art Teacher here with you again. Be sure to do your favorites, your likes, your subscribes, share it on Facebook, all that's regular YouTube type of stuff. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And what I want to do today is a sketchbook activity number 3. And there's an example out of one of my sketchbooks of what we'll be doing, except I used watercolor on that one, and we'll be using crayon, something more like this. Now, what you're going to need today is a pencil, some crayons. I got the big box here. If you can get that, it's under $10. You can find it everywhere. This is 120 crayons. That's good to have, okay? Something to measure with, paper, pencil, crayon, something to measure with, and a sketchbook. That's what you'll need. So, go ahead and get your sketchbook in front of you with your pencil. Be sure you got an eraser because we will be using that. And you're going to take your ruler. In this case I have a yardstick, but you could use a ruler. Find the halfway point somewhere toward the top of the paper and make a dot right there at the halfway point. So I'm going to walk this up and I'll be drawing right up there by you where you can see it good. And that's what you start off with, is a dot toward the top. Then we're going to hand draw these. We're not going to do a compass or anything. And I'll just hand draw a circle around it. It's certainly not perfect. Then go up a bit. Of course, you're going to do yours flat. It'll be a little easier that way. But this just gives you an idea of what it is we're doing. These are more kind of like ovals, I guess. But try to make it like a circle if you can. And now they start going right off the page. That's fine. That's what they're supposed to do. I'm probably going a little too dark on these. You need to go lighter. That's important. Try to go a little bit lighter with yours than I did. These are too dark probably, so you're going to want to hit it lighter, because later on we're going to go on top of those pencil lines with crayon, kind of like that. So you're going to start off with concentric lines around that middle circle. Step number 2 is you're going to have to, think about drawing these roads. Now you'll notice the roads go right through some of those concentric circle lines, like there, there, and there. So that means you have to do some erasing. So, I want to draw a road going from here to here. And I'm going to hand draw these lines so it will have that funky, interesting hand-drawn look. This is a lot different than the 2-point perspective stuff we did before. Because on that 2-point perspective drawing, the road got, or the 1-point perspective, the road got thinner as it went in. We're not worried about proportion or anything like that on this one. Then I'm going to draw that little dotted line in the middle. It kind of identifies it as a road and it draws the eye in better. How about a road going from here down to this one? From here to here. Well, I guess that means I'll have to do a little erasing right there. There we go. And then I draw the road right in there. And include that funky little symbol for a road, which is that dotted line. Then I'm going to make one go straight across, which is horizontal, right here. So, I'm going to want to erase this little line here, doing a little erasing. Then going straight across like that. and adding my fun little dotted line. That's a few rows. How about one more toward the bottom, going from here to here? I'll erase that. Now, what you need to keep in mind is this could be a lot more than just one drawing. You can make the roads wherever you want, however you want to, and try a variety of different configurations. You could do many drawings like this. So, what I'm heading toward is something like this, where I'm going to add these triangles in next. Now, there's a couple ways you can do that. You'll see in this drawing, I made the triangles smaller, and they don't go all the way to the next level. Okay? But in my large drawing here, that I'm still working on, I went ahead and I'm doing a few different things. I am making the triangles go down to the next circle, but in some of these, as you'll see in this area here, I draw another line right there, and I make a couple levels of triangles. Also, I'm mixing in some of these houses. Here I have these bird shapes, but I'm not going to put those on the one we have that I'm doing today. But you can try doing those in yours if you want to. Younger students might not want to get too fancy with it. It might be a little harder. So, that's where we are now. Next thing I want to do is start adding some of those triangles. There we go. This one will go only halfway up. How about putting one of those houses right here? I'll even put a house right in the middle. And that dot's going to be the window. I'll add some more of these triangles here. And you're starting to see what it's supposed to look like here. I'll add a house right on the road also. The houses can go however you like them. They can go on either side of the road, as I'm showing you here. You might come up with some way to do them that I haven't even thought of. That'd be fine. They can also go on these lines for the sun. This drawing reminds me of Arizona. That's where I'm at, because it's very hot here. And you feel like you are living in the sun sometimes. It's been about 115 degrees here. It's been about 115 degrees. Now for Celsius, that's what? 45 degrees Celsius, isn't that about right? Maybe a little more. So that's how hot it is where I live. So I'm just adding more stuff as I go. Hey, how about one of those funny trees? And when you're doing it, you can go more slowly and carefully. I'm just doing it faster for an example. So there's a house. How about a little picket fence? And it's all upside down, so that's kind of fun. There's some triangles for the sun. And I made these triangles go right behind that stuff. Then I keep adding more and more as I go out further and further. Some of these houses, a lot of them are coming out upside down. So, you keep going and you add your stuff all the way around. Some of the stuff I like to add are these houses, trees, little picket fence, the triangles for the sun, but also on this one I have rocket ships. These are just ideas. I have rocket ships. I have little water waves with boats. I have flowers here. And on this one I have those fun birds I like to draw. I put some storm clouds. This one I have a ladder, which is nice. I have some of those stars. So that's why I say this can be many more than just one drawing. You could do a whole sketchbook, 100 pages, just on this idea and have different variations. Okay? Many different variations involving color, shape, and different symbols that you're using. Anyway, let's say you get it all done and you have the drawing all the way around. Then take your black crayon and you're going to start going on top of those lines. And you need to hit all the lines with the black crayons. Although you might not want to hit these white lines, which are the dotted lines in the middle of the road. Instead, later when you go to color those in, just leave those white and I'll color in this one road by way of example. And I'm going to leave that little dotted line white in the middle there. Takes a little practice to get real good at crayon. It's actually, people think of wax crayon as just a childish medium or a childish material. In fact, you can do wonderful things with wax crayon. Anyway, that gives you an idea of how to handle the roads. You can make them black, but just leave the dotted line white. Everything else, I won't do the whole picture. I'll just do enough for you to understand what it is I'm trying to show you. When you do yours, you go a little slower and more carefully. Okay, because I don't want to take, if I really got into this and did it the way I'm saying for you to, this video would take an hour or more, okay? So to really do it carefully, it might take a little longer. So I'm going faster with this just to try to demonstrate so that you understand how to do it. So, let's say I did that much of it and I'll just do the next circle by way of example so you can see. Catch this road here. There we go. Almost done with this. Okay, so you do that on the whole picture. Then, as I mentioned, I like the large group of crayons, the large box, because look at all these yellows and a couple oranges I have. Remember, yellow and orange, they're next to each other on the color wheel, so they mix good. So what I'm going to do is pick out a couple of these, a dark yellow and a lighter yellow and an orange. So I've got these three. I'll put the rest back for now, but you can use many more. So I'm going to do, when you have a dark black outline like that, it makes the color inside look a lot brighter. I'm going to start with this dark yellow, and I'm going to do the insides, the bottom part of all of those triangles. I'm going to try not to get any black mixed in with that dark yellow. I think they call it goldenrod. And I'm going to try to hit all of those triangles really carefully and nicely. But just the bottoms. Because when I go to do the tops of those triangles, I'm going to hit them with a little different type of yellow. In that case, I'm going to use a bright, lighter yellow. So I got a dark yellow on the bottom, and I'm going to use a lighter yellow on the top part of that. So here we go. Now I'll get that lighter yellow, and I'll hit the top parts. So I'm using a lot of different types of one color. Now in my case, I'm only using 2 types of yellow. When you do yours, you'll have more time. You could use 5, 6, however many you want. Okay, but remember, I'm using one on the bottom, one on the top. So try to make them all sort of match in that same way, and that'll make it look good. Okay, and now maybe hit the orange. Uh-oh! I'm going to hit maybe the bottom of each one of those with a little bit of orange, and that'll just take a second, and that'll add some interest to the dark yellow part that we're doing. Again, if you take your time on this, I'm going very fast. You'll probably be more careful to not get as much black mixed into that. So, next thing I could do, and I'll just show you an example of it from one I did previously and have been working on. What I did here is I got 2 different types of blue, and I started to hit the inward pointing triangles with the different types of blue. A light blue and a dark blue. Again, you could use several different types of blue for that. It's the same idea. And then I can use maybe a red on those houses. That's a nice red. That's the bad part about getting a big box like that. It's hard to find each crayon. So, oh, there's a bright red. A razzmatazz is what they're calling that color. I'll hit the houses with some red, just for fun. Of course, there's a lot more you could do with that when you have more time. And then continue all the way out with that. So, let me go through that again kind of quick to make sure we all are on the same page with it. Number 1, you're going to need a pencil, box of crayons, a sketchbook, and something to measure with. Then, get a paper. Get a paper, toward the top of the page, measure to the halfway point, make a dot there. So you make a dot toward the top. Then, as you saw here, make a circle, kind of small, about as big as an American $50 coin. Then another one going around it, all the way till it goes off the page. These are freehand drawn. They don't have to be perfect. Try to make them light though, because you're going to do some erasing. Then add these roads in how you like to. Be sure to erase the concentric lines. That's why I said to draw them light. And then add the little dotted line element also. Then start adding in these triangles. You can go halfway up like I did here, or you can make them go all the way up to the next line. Then add little houses, trees, little picket fences, or in this case I have like a rocket ship, a ladder is nice, whatever design elements you like. Start adding those in as you go. A lot of that's where the artistry is. That's when you get creative and you start to improvise and come up with new things as you go and new different ways to arrange it. You know, you start noticing different things about how these shapes work together. And that's the artistry of it. That's why I say you can do 100 of these. You could do 100 different pictures based on this one idea, and all of them would look interesting and different. Then, once you do that, you need to go on top of your pencil lines with black crayon and start coloring in your roads. After you get that done, you start hitting it with the color using monochromatic. For instance, when you use a yellow, try to find several different yellows, maybe put an orange in with it. Because remember, they're next to each other on the color wheel. Then, same with the blues. Get a lot of different blues, maybe put a purple in with them. Okay? Because they're next to each other on the color wheel. Then color it in. And that, again, I say that's a sketchbook activity as if you just do one page like that. But I strongly encourage you to explore this idea and do more than one drawing in this style. Works with color pencil, watercolor. I've done an oil painting in this style. Works real well with crayon. And then I have this one in my sketchbook, which is watercolor. So you can do this design idea with a variety of different art materials or media. Okay, leave a question below if I was unclear about anything, and enjoy the lesson. You take care.